This week's edition of Church Media Design TV is sponsored by danzinkandtoner.com and the Church Media Design TV store. Welcome to another edition of Church Media Design TV, tips, tricks, and how-to for you, the church media designer. Now, you might not be working in the church or even in a churchish organization, but we're here to help you guys use media to effectively increase God's kingdom. We want to use the media that surrounds us every day to help share the story of Christ and how He loved and died for us and how He can do that for everyone else. And so media is just one tool to share that story, and I want to help you guys that are doing that week in and week out use that tool effectively. And joined with me every week is the three wise men in Jesus. We have Dwight Schrute, Little Whitey, Colonel Sanders, and of course, Jesus Christ, the Son of the Lord Most High. If I didn't say it before, I'm Brad Zimmerman, and I am your host, and I'm here to help because I've been given much, and I want to give much back to you guys because I don't want to hold all these things into myself. I want to help you guys out with them. So, and if you guys have any stuff that you want to share with the rest of the CMD universe, let me know. I would love to help share tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff with everybody else because we want to hold all this knowledge in. We want to help resource everyone else around us because why try figure it out by yourself when you can get help from someone, because we don't need to waste time doing that stuff. Anyway, we're covering looping techniques right now, and this week we're going to be talking about fractal noise and how to loop fractal noise. We're also going to throw in a quick expression to help do it a little bit easier, a little bit more effective, and I think it's pretty cool, and I wrote it, so I kind of like it. So we'll be doing that, as well as we got some freebies for you, and we got some resources for you. We got a whole bunch of stuff for you. So if the three wise men in Jesus are ready, let's get into it. Well, we're going to reach into the stockpile and grab you guys some great resources, and this week's stockpile is full of a theme of font resources. And the first one is from webdesignledger.com, and they have 28 free high-quality fonts to boost your typography. Cool thing about this is these aren't like going over to dafont.com and getting all sorts of crazy wing-ding, like super over-designed fonts. These are like quality fonts that you can distort yourself or use in design, and they're really simple, classic fonts that will last you till the end of time. I'm pretty sure, like forever, end of time. So anyway, so you can check out those 28 free high-quality fonts. Now the next thing is myfontbook.com. Now myfontbook.com is a font viewer, and we can launch this viewer, and I can just kind of show you how it works. Now there's a lot of font management programs out there that you can use that allow you to add and remove fonts without actually putting them into your folder. It kind of just activates or deactivates them. And one cool feature of this is it allows you to see what fonts look like. You can type in and say, oh, what does the word Sunday sunrise look like? And you can see what that looks like. Or what does ChurchMediaDesign.tv look like in this font? And it allows you to see that in every single font in your font program. Then you can turn it on or turn it off. Well, what myfontbook.com does is it does a similar thing, but it doesn't do it using, you can't turn fonts on and off, but you are allowed to preview them. So I'm just going to enter some sample text here. We're just going to insert Church Media Design TV, and we will hit our list view here. And real quickly, you'll see that it goes through and it shows us what this looks like in all of these different fonts. So, oh, we got this crazy westerny looking one, and maybe we want like a script looking one, and it gives us a really nice preview of what it looks like. We also can click like, okay, Cooper Black. That's nice and all, but what does Cooper Black look like? What are all the different characters that are available for this? So we can see that we got some different characters down here that are available. We can look at the metrics of it. We can look at what it looks like as a body text. So what would that look like as a paragraph versus just a title font? So we could jump back over and you can jump through and see all of these, and it works really fast. You can switch and say, well, what does this look like in bold? And it's going to do it in bold real quick for us, and it's actually switching everything to bold. So you can sign up for an account, and it's a really cool program, so check that one out. And then last but not least, check out vimeo.com/category/animation/typography. And these are all typography video animations. These are very type-based, kinetic typography, all that kind of stuff. There's a couple groups in one channel, but this is the main area. There's almost 2,000 videos that have been tagged with the word typography and motion graphics together. So this is a great place to go if you want to do some motion graphics with kinetic type. So check out the Vimeo typography group, myfontbook.com, and Web Design Ledger's 28 free high-quality fonts. Well, this week we're going to continue our looping background series, and we're going to talk about fractal noise. So let's just jump in and show you fractal noise. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to create a new solid, and this solid is just going to be comp size black. Then we're going to right click on our effects area, and then we're going to go down to noise and grain, and then fractal noise. So you can see we have fractal noise here, and you can do a lot of different things with this effect. You can mess with the evolution, and it kind of evolves. You can mess around with your complexity. There's actually sub settings, so we can we can have less influence or more influence from our sub settings. We can mess around with our contrast and make it more contrasted. We also can change the noise type, so we can make it like block instead of not block. So we can do linear, soft spline. So there's a lot of different types that you can do in here, as well as we can transform this, so we could scale this up or down and make it more or less pronounced. And again, this is like the clouds effect from Photoshop, but it's way more powerful, way more powerful. So what we're going to do first is talk about the evolution and show you quickly how this loops. So down here you can say cycle evolution. And it's going to ask you how many cycles do you want in your revolution, or how many cycles do you want in a full loop. So you can say, I want this to evolve 1 time before it loops, or I want this to evolve 12 times before it becomes a seamless loop. So right now, if we set this to 1, we just have to do 1 evolution. Set this to 1, and now you can see that as we scroll along, we have a perfect loop. So that's a looping background. Now, this isn't really that powerful right now, because that's pretty simple to make that loop. What we want to do is actually make this a little bit more powerful. Now, the problem that I ran into, and we're going to do a quick expression just to make our life a little bit easier, but I ran into this problem that, okay, I like this, but for 30 seconds, it's not really doing that much, and it's not evolving that much. So I want to have more cycles in my revolution. So I want to, let's say, try 10. So now I'd set that to 10, and now I need to tell my evolution to be 10. And now I have a full loop again that is seamlessly looping, and it's doing a lot more movement. So if we would go do a preview of like 6 seconds, you can see that we have, we have some good movement going on for 30 seconds. But what if you are changing that a lot and it becomes a big hassle? So what we're going to do is kind of reset this back, and I'm going to show you how I figured out how to do this with an expression. Now, again, don't get scared by expressions. All they are is a way to use math to control animation based on JavaScript, but it's really easy to understand, and I'm going to show you a quick way to do this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to right click, we're going to do an expression control, slider control, and we're just going to call this guy amount. And then we're going to go in here and we're going to flip down our fractal noise effect, and we're going to go down, and we need to make sure that our cycle evolution is set to on, and then we need to take our cycles in revolution. We're going to alt click on that, which makes an expression. We're going to take this pick whip, and we're going to pick whip it to the slider. So basically it's taking the effect amount slider and applying that to this value. So if I change this to, let's say, 20, you'll see that down here it changes it to 20. So we're going to just set this to 1 for now, and it's set to 1. Now we need to say that we want this to evolve to be this evolution amount. So what we're going to do here, we're going to alt click on our evolution, and then we're going to pick whip again this value, and we're going to say that we want to do time divided by 360 times this effect should give us, time divided by out underscore point, and then, oops, I gotta spell out point correctly. Out point times effect slider times 360. Times 360. So basically what we're doing here is we're taking the time, so the current playhead time, we're dividing that by the length of this bar, and then we're multiplying that by this value, which gets multiplied by 360. So if we evolve this all the way down, you'll see that we get right up to 359.6, because 360 would be on the next frame. It actually gives us a seamless loop because it's just barely off from one another. But the cool thing is I can go in here and now change this to 10, and you'll see that now we revolve all the way around, and this automatically went to become a seamless loop close to 10. Now the very dynamic and cool part about this is it uses the bar length. So let's say we wanted a 15-second loop. I can go here and drag my bar out to 15 seconds, and it still is doing a full loop, but it's doing it in 15 seconds. No keyframes needed, so that's how we're going to do that. So I'm just going to drag this back out to 30, and we have a full 30-second loop. We can change this slider amount and change how much it evolves, and pretty cool, pretty easy. But what we want to do now is make this fractal noise look a little bit cooler. So we'll flip open our values here. I'm actually going to close them down here. Flip open our values here, and we're going to mess around with our transform properties. So we're going to uncheck our uniform transform, and we're going to actually scale our width way out and then scale our height down so we get some good like horizontal lines going on. So we could even take this past the 600 marker if we wanted to make them even more stretched. And then let's mess around with our brightness and contrast. And so we can get some like good contrast going on here, and maybe we want to take our brightness down just a little bit, kick up our brightness a little bit more so we get some very distinct lines. And as you can see, these kind of evolve and move around and kind of dance a little bit. But what we want to do now is actually make this look a little bit cooler. So there's a couple things we can do. The first thing we'll try to do is we'll do a little warp. So we're going to go to distort and go down to warp. And now we can do this arc warp, and maybe we would do this at 100, and we can move this layer down, and that actually looks pretty cool. So we can take this guy and just keep moving him down until, let's say, we like how that looks. And maybe we want to feather the edge of this. So we're just going to do a mask, and we're going to feather this mask. I just did Control N for a new mask. We're going to uncheck our feather options, and we'll just kind of feather out this edge a little bit. I'm not sure. Let's take the warp off a second so we can see which edge is getting feathered. I think that's not the edge. We want to feather this edge. So we'll maybe feather this 100 pixels. And then when we apply our warp to it now, you can see that our edge up here should be a little less pronounced, get a little softer. Maybe we want to do 200 pixels, and you can see how it kind of fades off a little bit and gives us a little bit, oops. So you can kind of see what we're getting here. So we're kind of just fading that off into the distance. Gives it more of a round feel to it. And now we're just going to simply go and add some coloring to it. So we're going to do, we'll actually just duplicate this solid, remove the effects from it, because why not reuse? And then we're going to go to generate, we're going to do 4-color gradient. And we need to remove the mask from this, as well as we need to take our position and reset our position. So we're just going to grab this guy and put him up here. I think it's like 640 by 360 is our center point. 360. Okay, and then we're gonna start messing around with blending mode. So again, we'll just do Shift and plus and minus, and we'll find a place that gives us some cool look to it. Maybe we want to go with something brighter like this, but the problem you can see right now is that this is blending through to nothing in the background. So we actually need to take that same black solid, put it in the background, and generate some sort of color back there. And so if we generate a fill, and we could generate maybe white, we could get like this really bright, happy looking loop that kind of fades off into the abyss. Or we could go and make this black and then mess with our blending mode on here until we get something that looks a little bit better. So like we could say, we'll flip our switches and modes, and overlay was actually what I was looking for. We could do overlay, and then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a glow to this. So I'm just gonna go to stylize, and I'm gonna do glow, and we're gonna set our color channel amount from 8 to 32. And so we're just gonna click on here, we're gonna do 32 bits per channel float. And you'll see that we kind of get some like cooler, brighter looking, and we can take down our glow threshold to a different value, and maybe take up our glow radius a little higher, maybe to not 300, maybe like 40. And you can see how that's kind of given us a little bit better glow. We can take that off, and you can see it's given us a little bit better, but maybe we need to take this down just a hair. So you can see it's kind of given us a little bit more vibrant colors. And then we can go back to our 4-color gradient, and we can mess with our colors and our position of these colors. So maybe we want to go in here and do more of a red to purple, and then let's take these colors and kind of have them have a little bit more influence. So maybe this green, we want to make more of a bright yellow, or maybe like a purpley color. We could just put this down into this corner just to kind of give that a little bit different of a feel. And maybe this yellow we want to make more of a bluish green or a bluish purple color. And again, all these colors are working together, so as I change one, you can see how it affects another. So again, I'm just kind of messing around until I find something that looks right and feels the way I want it to feel. So nothing's perfect here, but pretty quickly we get a pretty cool looking effect. Now again, we can take and knock this up a little bit further. So maybe we want to show a little bit more of this. We could also scale it down if we wanted to. Oops, let's not scale the mask. Let's just hit S for scale. And so we kind of got this kind of cool little hub wheel going on the bottom. Now what we could do is we could duplicate this guy, rotate it 180 degrees, and then we can move it up. And maybe adjust it over to the side or something. And then duplicate that again, adjust this over to this side. And then maybe move this guy down to the bottom a little bit more. Just kind of get this lined up evenly a little bit more, and you know, we can get some kind of crazy hypnotic stuff going on. Now we could rotate this a little bit so that it's not quite so the same. So maybe we want more of that edge in there. And again, this color overlay is affecting all of the layers below it. So if I shut that off, you'll see we just have grayscale going on. I actually kind of liked earlier we had a little bit more of a overlap going on. Oops. And I kind of liked how that looked. So let's overlap these guys a little bit more, kind of get some crazy spinning stuff. And you can see I accidentally knocked over my adjustment layer, but pretty quickly, let's change this back to 180 for a second. And move this over. So we got a little something something going on. It's not super special, but it's got an interesting effect going on with it. So you can see pretty quickly, I'm going to chuck this down to quarter quality so that we can see this a little bit easier as we scroll along. You can see we got like some pretty interesting stuff going on with this. Some kind of cool effects that, you know, maybe that's a cool hypnotic background, but that's just one of many ways to use fractal noise, and it's just a quick way of making backgrounds. Real quickly, we'll just duplicate this guy. We'll name this Frac1, and we'll name this guy Frac2. We'll go into Frac2, we'll remove all but one of these, and then we'll not use the warp effect, but we'll actually go in and we will use our distort polar coordinates. And with polar coordinates, I can set this to rectangular to polar, set this to 100, and now you can see we have like this perfect circle going on. I can hit M and undo my mask a little bit. And let's just move this guy up. There we go. And now we could scale this up a little bit and maybe rotate it so we don't see that seam. So I'm just going to rotate this guy 180 degrees. And we get a similar effect with this. Now it looks terrible at quarter quality, but we go up to full and you can see we got a pretty cool effect. And again, we got our colors here that we can adjust these points. Maybe we want to have a little bit more blue up there, and we can kind of just mess around until something looks nice in the way that we want it to. We also can go in and let's say we take this guy, we move him to right about here. Now let's take a new solid, and we're actually going to make layer solid setting, whoops, layer new solid. We're going to make this one 720 by 720, so it's a perfect circle. Hit OK, and you'll see we have this perfect circle here. And I'm just going to double click on my ellipse tool, and then I'm going to scale this layer up until it's the width of my comp. Probably should have done 1280 by 1280. But then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my mask tools, and I am going to feather this mask. So I'm just going to take and do, let's say, 200 pixels. And then I'm going to take my expansion settings and I'm going to expand this down and just kind of black out that center area a little bit. Maybe we want to go down to 100 pixels so it's not quite so pronounced. But now we kind of have like a bridge looking arc going on that's missing the center of it. And it looks pretty natural, and maybe that's kind of a cool different thing that you can do with it. So again, these are really simple ways. Fractal noise has a lot of different ways to loop with it. I'm actually going to cover another way that you can loop fractal noise in an upcoming episode, along with offset, how you put those together. Again, I want to say thank you to Trent Armstrong, who helped show me the beginnings of a lot of these effects that I've taken and made my own. If you want to get that expression, I can put that up on the website for you guys to download and check out. So hopefully that helps you out learning how to loop fractal noise inside After Effects. Well, this week I got some great motion graphics / regular illustration inspiration. Again, follow me on Twitter for daily motion graphics inspiration, my morning motion graphics. inspiration is going on, and I post up something new every day that hopefully you guys can take and be inspired by and actually accomplish. This next one is from the goodmorningstranger.com, and this is the work of Nicholas Alexander, and his site is launching soon. He actually has a blog too that's pretty interesting, but the way I found out about him was a lot of tutorial art wrap-ups on Abdizito and PSD toots and stuff like that, and he's on the Behance network. He's got a lot of really great stuff on here, and he's got his show reel that's pretty cool, as well as you can check out some other videos on Behance. And so, yeah, check out behance.net/Nicholas Alexander or goodmorningstranger.com. He's also on vimeo.com/Nick Alexander. So check out this video and be inspired. Well, this week's freebie is those couple of different circular kind of backgrounds we made using Fractal Noise. I'm going to throw both of these online in a download pack, so you'll get two different ones to choose from for this week, so feel lucky, you're getting two. So yeah, go check those out. They'll be in WMV as well as MPEG-4, widescreen and in full screen, so you can go download those today, add them to your arsenal, use them on Sunday mornings, and let me know how they're being used. Is there too much graphics in the way on some of these, or do you want more going on? Are they too simple, or are they too complex? I would love to know how you guys are using these and how I can better create some of these motion backgrounds for you, because I'm using these every time we create them at our church, and I would love to be able to create stuff that you guys like as well. So go over to the website and download those today. Well, we wanted to say thank you to our sponsors, and our first sponsor is DansInkandToner.com. Stop wasting money on ink and toner and start spending it on things that you really care about. And head over to DansInkandToner.com. You can find out more about the wholesale program, where you can get wholesale ink and toner pretty much at cost, as well as you can find out about his leasing program and his full service programs. And the best way to do this is to either sign up for the store and he'll get in touch with you, or to email him, Dan@DansInkandToner.com, or call him at 1-800-257-8616 and give Dan a call, and he'll help you figure out what's best for your church. And the next thing is we're kind of sponsoring ourselves. Go over to store.ChurchMediaDesign.tv and check out a t-shirt. You can download t-shirts. I would love to download a t-shirt. Where does that come out of the computer? USB drive? It just kind of like folds out of it. Be a crazy computer. Anyway, you can't download, but you can buy t-shirts online, and then we'll send them to you through the mail. So they're $15 for international and $20 to go international. Did I say international twice? I think I just did. So $15 for domestic/national, and then $20 for international. And you kind of get a taste of what the new website will look like with the header and whatnot there. So make sure to check that out and buy one today to help us out. So check out store.ChurchMediaDesign.tv and DansInkandToner.com. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Church Media Design TV. I'm so glad you guys could be a part of the show. Again, I hope that you learned something about looping today and you're able to take the fractal noise effect and make some kind of cool different loops with it. And again, that's just one of the things you can do with it. I really wanted to show you how to make it loop, and then it's up to you to decide what it looks like and how to use it. There's so many different ways that you can make fractal noise look not just like that, not just like clouds. There's a million different things you can do with it. So play around with that. Make sure to go download those freebies. Sign up for our newsletter, ChurchMediaDesign.tv/subscribe. Go over to the store, purchase a t-shirt, become our fan on Facebook, facebook.com/CMDTV. You can follow me on twitter.com/CMDTV. Email me, brad@ChurchMediaDesign.tv. You can also get in touch with Adam at Adam CMDTV on Twitter and Adam at ChurchMediaDesign.tv, and check out some of the work that he's helping do over at www.ancross.com. Confusing, but clever. So make sure to check out all those things. Next week we're going to be covering some more looping techniques, and I'm really encouraged to help you guys with this stuff, and hopefully it's helping you guys out a lot in your church as we roll into this fall semester. Be encouraged. Don't get overwhelmed. Hopefully, I'll be able to help you out along the way as you're getting things ramped back up for the fall and the new year. So, as for me and the three wise men and Jesus, we're saying, see you later. Ba-da-dun-dun-dun, da-da-dun-dun, da-da-dun-dun-dun, da-da-dun-dun, da-da-dun-dun-dun.